Okie dokie. Let's see. I don't know how to make this full screen. Wrong. Oh my, I almost haven't used, I haven't used the camera in a while. Welcome in, Brittle. How are you doing? Sorry, I need to fix my... Nope, okay, that was wrong. I'm sorry, I don't think I can make that I don't think I can make that bigger. Yeah, I won't, I can't make it so it covers the whole screen. Welcome in, Brittle. I'm sorry, I did do some... Can you hear me? I'm gonna turn this up a little bit more. So, just let me know, can you hear me? Can you hear the fans that are in the back? I think OBS has some noise canceling things in it, so I'm hoping that it's canceling out the noise that I currently have running right now. Because that was my biggest concern, because you know what I was talking about, or I was telling you yesterday. So yeah, here we go. This is for those who don't know, today I'm going to be showcasing some of the basics of crochet. I am a crocheter. I like to do handcrafts, and and we're gonna be making a flower today, and I misplaced the flower because I was doing some organizing. I'm so sorry. I should have been a little bit more organized. Where did I throw them? Well, anyway, I want to showcase the octopus. Here's the octopus I made. So that was something I made a couple weeks ago. Okay, here is the flower. Yeah, so this was the first stuffed animal I made a couple weeks ago. I need to turn off the starting soon sign, sorry, my apologies. So hopefully when we're done with this stream, we'll be able to make a flower. This is based off of a pattern I found on Reddit. Exclamation point, crochet, links. You can see a document with some resources. Thank you. And okay. I need to see OBS. Okay. So yeah, this is based off of a pattern that was posted on r/crochet. It's very simple, only 9 rounds. But first, I need to show you all the basics. So, okay. I'm gonna move the octopus. Okay. Actually, that would be pretty cute if yeah. I could sew it on. So I made these little swatches using some of my yarn. This is all one thing. This is all one ball of yarn. Or it's not. It's just one. It's this yarn here. So the stitches I'll be showing you showing you all today are the ones that are going to be used in the flower. So I'm getting these lined up. I made these little swatches of 1 row of the basic stitches. So we have single crochet. So these are in US terms. I believe the UK uses different terms. And like this, and the stitches they have different terminology overseas. So this is single. And you compare that to a half double, which is here. So it's a little bit taller. And then as the tallest, we have the double. Yeah, so you can find an exclamation point, or you can find a link that one of the links I shared also shows how to do some of these stitches. I also, in order to do a height comparison, I did 3 rows of each stitch. So the double. Sorry, I didn't. My apologies. I didn't weave in the ends, so I felt like that might have made things a little bit more confusing. 3 rows of the half double. So I'm just going to can see how this is a little bit taller than this. And then for the single, make sure this is up here. Okay, move this. This is even shorter. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be. A little bit. So you have 3 rows of each, and this is just me going back and forth across 3 rows just to show you how these compare. A treble is even, I believe it's even taller than the double. But these are the stitches we'll be using. We'll also be doing what's called a slip stitch, but I'll show you how to do that when we get there. It's basically even shorter than this type than the single. And it's mainly, I think I mainly use it to either, if I'm doing a round and I'm finished, if I'm doing like a circle, I joined it at the end. Or if I need to move across a row but without adding any heights, I do a slip. But we might as well get started. I'll show you how to do a row. So, oh yeah, all of these were rows of 10 stitches. And I wanted to show these off too. These are little scissors I don't always carry, but they kind of fold together. So I'm thinking I should use, just for the sake of the light, I'm going to use this yarn, but we will be using the white for the flower. As for the hook size, this is a 5mm hook. I have several different hooks. I have a bunch of tiny ones that I find really hard to use. I have some other ones that... This is a 3.75. This is a... Oh, this is another 5.1. And I wanted to show you all the 10mm one that I have. Just before we get started, it's currently attached to my welcome mat made out of plastic bags. So this is a 10mm hook that I used for a giant blanket. And this is an example of this is just a bunch of rows of single crochet stitches. It's nowhere near done, but I basically knotted a bunch of plastic bags together, and I'm working on this. Yeah, this is a pretty large hook. I have a really tall blanket, or I don't have it. It was a gift that I made, but I used this giant 10mm hook for that project. So the first thing you got to do when you're, well, I'll be showing you how to crochet in the round when we get to the flower, but when you're doing a row like this, you want to start with a knot that I'll show you how to do here. So I'm going to put the yarn on this side because I am right-handed. So the yarn, okay, so you want this side, which is attached to the yarn, to be on the bottom. And then you grab, so you have, this is the end, the tail, and you grab and pull up. So now you have a cute little knot, and if you mess up, voila, it's... So yeah, so here again, tail, pull up. So now I'm going to show you how to do a chain. When you see a pattern that says chain 20 or chain 10 or chain 3, you do this. So you have the ball here. You do this. So you wrap it around and you pull it. You wrap it around and you pull it through the loop. Wrap it around, pull through the loop. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 stitches. Or 5 chains. One example that I used a chain for was when I was making dishcloths, and I wanted to make a little loop at the end so it could be hanged. So when I finished the project, I did a chain 10 and then I did a slip stitch into the project, so it was a little loop made of these. So we're just gonna do some chains, and let me know if you have any questions. There is a such thing as a foundation stitch, but I've never taught myself it, so I can't teach you because I don't do it. At least not yet. I consider myself kind of a late beginner, early intermediate. I'm good enough that I can make really cool doilies and projects, but you know, this was my first stuffed animal. You can even see I messed up on one of the legs, so I had already sewn it in when I realized the problem. So right now we're not really making any sort of project. I'm just showing you how to do a chain. So if you want to make, say, a scarf that is like, I don't know, 30 stitches across, you'd want to do 31 chains, because when you crochet, when you start doing what we call the single crochet, you want to skip 1 chain and put it in here. So, and you do it, and you put it, and you start in the second chain. Start in the second loop. So you have a chain here, but I stick this in, and then you yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And so this marks the end of the row, or start of a row. And when you're starting out especially, or you're working with a yarn that's hard to see the end, you want to put a stitch marker, which I know I put them around here. There they are. I suggested using, safety pins, because even though they're sharper, they're just, I didn't want to have to make y'all buy a bunch of supplies. So this is pretty helpful when you're starting out or another technique I would do when I'm making like a big blanket is I would put number beads on this, and it would indicate the row that I'm on. So now I'm attaching this. So this marks the stitch that's at the end. And now we're going to just continue. So we do not skip the next chain, but we are going to, this is a single stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So now we have the second one. And then we just continue on until the end. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Yeah. How are you doing, Brittle? Do you have any questions? And just, yeah, when just keep an eye on, okay, please let it autofocus. So you can see, like, right now the stitch, my last stitch was in this, thing here. Yeah. Okay, let's see we could go back and I'll show you I can show you what I mean. I'm just going to, what we're gonna call frog it. I'm just gonna frog this. Yeah, my apologies. Okay. So I'm just gonna do an example. Okay, so we're gonna have a row of 10 stitches. So we're gonna chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then again, since we're so I want to show you why we have to skip, but I'm pretty sure you start from the second, because this stitch essentially helps to build. From my understanding is that when you get to the end of a row, you do a chain 1, and that helps to build height. So now we're going, so again, this is a stitch. This is like your this is the 11th chain. You're gonna stick it into the 10th one. You're gonna stick it through, yarn up, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And yeah, we're gonna stick this, and so, and what I mean by the stitch, you see where this V shape is? This is a stitch. So there are techniques, so you make sure you're sticking your hook through both of them. There are techniques that involve only like going through like the front or the back loop. In fact, let me grab something. I should have had that with me when I started this stream, but I didn't think of it at the time. Here. One of my doilies was an example of where I forget, it was either the front or the back, but on this particular loop, when I did these stitches, I went through, I think, the back loop, it was where one of I think it was either the front or it was the back V, I think. So this is a doily. This is the, I think, the second doily I ever made. And I'll show you how to crochet in the round when we make the flower. But this is just an example. A project may specify that you do, either the front or the back loop. Okay, so speaking of, another thing, a good thing is stitch markers are good for are, okay, I'm getting myself confused right now, because yeah, so sometimes when when I put a project down, I'll put another stitch marker in this part here, just to hold it. So 1, 2, I'm just gonna have to count these. 1, 2, 3, no, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And don't be discouraged if you have to like undo it a lot. When I was making the flower, I missed a stitch at a point, and I redid it like at least 2 or 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm pretty sure I have the right one. So me setting it down and grabbing the doily kind of confused me. So I'm gonna go put this back here. Okay. Again, so make sure you stick through both loops and you count, the V's indicate the stitch. So now this is we just do this again. You stick it through one of the V's here. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. You stick it into that thing, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And we'll just keep doing this until the end of the row. And then I'll show you how to jump to the next row. So this can be very useful when you're making things like scarves. I have a scarf, I have an unfinished scarf somewhere. There was there was an interesting YouTube video that came out that I shared in another Discord I'm in that was about why crochet machines are hard. I think they technically exist, but they're really hard and they're not very accurate. So this appears to be the very last stitch or very last chain. So we will do this as normal. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So this is at the very end of the row. So in order to jump to the next row, we will do a chain one. So we yarn over, pull through the stitch, then we turn it around. And so this thing right here is the chain. This is the chain that we just created. And we will stick this in here and do a stitch. And this will be the first stitch for this row. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So now you can see how we use a chain and it helped to add height. At least this is how I understand it. I actually, when I learned how to crochet at first from the crochet club, they never taught me to chain one, and I didn't understand why I was having such a hard time. I wasn't just missing stitches, but I wasn't doing these chains that I was supposed to be doing. It took me a long time to figure that out. So now that we have the first stitch, we will stick this stitch marker in, and we will continue. Do you have any questions? So, yeah, so now we see some more V's. And again, these are all the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we can stick this through both, this is the V. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And we will just continue doing this. Excuse my mic, it's constantly autofocus, or my camera, it's off. This is a new camera, so I'm still kind of learning the quirks of it. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. How are you doing, Brittle? Let me know if you have any questions. This does take a bit of practice, and I know that I would say I'm decent, but there's certainly a lot of advanced things that I'm not that good at yet. Even magic circles took me a while. There are something that I'm kind of worried about, but hopefully I'll be able to teach it well enough so we can make a beautiful flower. When I first tried to make this, when I first made one of these, off the pattern, it took me about 20 minutes. And that was the flower I gave to my grandma. Yeah, it's just something that takes practice. I know that sometimes my loops aren't the most uniform either. But it's just something that will come with practice. And I'm sure that, you know, with time, you'll do great. I'm not really looking at my hand. I'm looking at my OBS that has my camera on the screen, as opposed to, you know, looking directly at my hands. So this is kind of different for me too. So I'm kind of partially feeling this, but I'm also looking at my camera at the same time. Yeah, so yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So we are approaching the end of that of the other row. So what I will do is we will remove the stitch marker and we will do the same. And I think once if you're feeling good, or at least like you understand what we're doing, getting the hang of, so yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, you would just do, in order to start another row, you would just do a chain one, flip, and then, you know, you'd start here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and then just add a stitch marker here. How are you feeling? Do you think we are ready to go on to the next, the next stitch? Yeah, so, just, yeah, feel free to go back to, you know, I'm gonna save a VOD on, well, I'm going to, you know, this is gonna be on my Twitch for, you know, about 2 weeks, and then it's gonna be also exported to my YouTube. I probably need to also link my YouTube. I use my YouTube as kind of a VOD place to hold all my past VODs. So I can put that onto, it'll also be on my YouTube channel. So with this, I'm just gonna take these out. I keep on losing stitch markers, so that's why I don't have that many. So yeah, for now, okay, let me first off, put this. Okay, my apologies, I'm just having to reorganize just a tiny bit. So now we're gonna start this the same that we did before. So so one of the things I'm kind of confused on myself is when you're at the because a half double, it's like kind of a in between a single and a double. I wasn't quite sure. I'm still not quite sure on whether you're supposed to do 1 or 2 chains before you know, well, you know how we chain 1 at the end of a row before we're going into the next. 1, 2, 3. I personally just did 2 because you can't exactly do half a chain, or, but you know, so we're just gonna do 2. There are probably people that will tell you that if you're doing rows of half double, you'll do something else. I don't know, but so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and again, so like if you're doing like a row of doubles, you would, you know, do 2 more stitches and then skip 2. But since I have not seen what you're supposed to do, so I've never done a project of rows of half double. So we're just gonna kind of do the same as double, because I think we'd rather have a little bit too much space than too little. So we're at 10 stitches, so that's 11, and that's 12. So you know how we skipped 1 chain for the single? Yeah, so for both the double and the half double, unless some better, more serious people tell me otherwise, for a half double, I'm going to skip 2. And so you go 1, 2, and then into the 3rd stitch. So we will be putting our hook through the 3rd from the last chain. But in order to start, we will yarn over. So we're gonna pull the yarn over right now, put it into the next stitch. Okay, okay, if it will let me. And then yarn over. Okay, so yarn over again, and then we will pull through. So we have currently 3 loops on the hook. We will yarn over, and pull through. Okay, this is a little tight. All 3 loops. Okay, it's... My apologies, that's... So yeah, so this is, so we're gonna do this again. Honestly, I don't, well, I guess I did a couple half doubles when I was on the giant doily. So the next stitch, yarn over, stick it into the stitch, pull up a loop, so yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Oh, and I forgot to say, don't forget to put in the stitch marker. I did, so sorry. I'm a hypocrite. I forgot. This is just, it's just helpful for you to identify the last stitch in the row. So we're gonna try this again. Yarn over. We are gonna stick it into the stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3. So yeah, these are a little bit taller than the singles, but they're not gonna be as tall as the doubles. Trebles are even taller, but we're not gonna be doing them today, so... But the 3 stitches I'll be teaching you are gonna be used in the flower. And also, also increases, decreases, and a magic circle. And a slip. So we're gonna yarn over, stick it through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3. How are you doing, Brittle? How are you doing with your half doubles? Yarn over, stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3. We can do another row, but it's the same. It's the same idea as what we did here, where you'll just, you know, chain 2, and I'll show you I'll show you. We'll do that too. So yarn over, stick it into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 here. Yarn over, stick it into the well, I mean, I keep on saying stitch, but it's a chain. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And I think this is the last one, yep. So yarn over, stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. So now we are going to we're gonna do a chain 2. 1, 2. We're gonna turn this around. So now we have 2 chains here. And now we are going to, so you have 1 chain. Then you have the second chain. And then this is our stitch. So we're gonna be yarn over, stick it into the V, the stitch. Yarn over, well, okay, it slipped for me. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And now we're gonna put the stitch marker here. Again, when you're doing a big project, you can put number beads on here to mark your rows, which I thought was an ingenious idea. You can get number beads from, you know, Michael's or, you know, any craft store or places that sell craft materials. It's a pretty, I think the giant blanket I did was well over 100 rows, so if I didn't have number beads, I would have lost track quickly. So we're gonna get yarn over, stick it into a V, the V, yarn over, pull up a loop, a yarn over, pull through. So yarn over, stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So how are you feeling, Brittle? Again, this all takes practice, and feel free to reference the VOD. I think I will try to get my YouTube linked where my other VODs can be seen. Right now they're currently all set to private, but I will I'll try to make this VOD at least a public one. Yeah, I really like this camera because it has a light. So it has, like, it even has different settings on it. And I'm sorry that I don't have enough room to have this out of the camera, so yeah, this is my little tripod. And it's kind of auto-focusing. Yarn over, stick it into the V. Well, yeah, this V. Because this is the last stitch. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. I need to move this OBS. Yeah, I'm glad that I can. I'm glad I can be helpful, Brittle. Yeah, I really wanted to get myself a good camera that, given my overhead light, it was gonna create some nasty shadows here, and I still want to be able to see my computer screen. So this is my new desk from IKEA. Yarn over, pull up loop, yarn over, pull through all three. Yarn over, pull, stick it through the stitch, yarn up over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all three. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Stick it to yarn over, stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Yeah, you stick it in through both V's unless the pattern says otherwise. Of course, some of this of course I am right-handed, so you know, if you're left-handed, some of this might be a bit like backwards. But yeah, again, like you know, you can see that I've stuck this into a both of these, but like I was showing you all before, this particular project is an example of pulling only through one of them. It creates this cute little effect here. Like, this kind of reminds me of a mint cookie. If the blue had been more of a green, it would have reminded me of a mint cookie. So yeah, this is the final. This isn't the final stitch. The next one's the final stitch. So yarn over, stick it to the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And again, at the end of the row, take this out, and we will yarn over, stick it through the Well, wow, I am having some problems right now with it. There. It kind of works. Yarn over. Sticking to the stitch, yarn over, pull, it's trying to pull up a loop. Yarn over. Pull through. So yeah, this is a half double. So now I'm going to be showing you how to do a double crochet. So yeah, again, the double crochet is, you know, the tallest of these three that we'll be doing today. So I'm just gonna cut this yarn here. Well, that's so good, Riddle. I know you can. Feel free to post some pictures, because you know I'm very encouraging. Trust me, when I made my first scarf, my rows were not straight because I was not taught to do the chain at the end. I was a part of my university's knitting and crochet club, and I started crocheting because it was the pandemic and I really needed easy volunteer hours. Well, I made a deal with the club president. I would get a certain number of hours per item that I made. So depending on if it was like a scarf, I would get a certain amount, hats, so she taught me some of this stuff in person, but this was kind of my way. I taught myself crochet, and then I also got some volunteer hours out of it that I could get while socially distant. So that was kind of how I got a lot of my volunteer hours, and in my later semesters was crocheting, because it wasn't like I could do a lot of the normal volunteer events that that would involve volunteering at whatever event. Those no longer existed because of the pandemic. Well, anyway, so now we're going to show you all how to do the double. So again, we're just going to start this off the same. Well, so yeah, the tail here. We're gonna grab this yarn and make a little knot. Oh yeah, and this little hook is made out of bamboo. Yeah, these scissors I got from someone in the club. It was really cool. Even the white yarn, they gave me the white yarn, just because, and so that's how I have. I used a lot of the white. I used a decent chunk of it on my giant doily. I would say this is pretty smooth. I'll compare it to, say, yeah, I found that sometimes that happens. I think this is like a metal one. I found that these metal ones can really slide. Like they can be very smooth. The giant one can be difficult. A doily, it's kind of like a decorative piece. Welcome in, Johto Silver. Great to see you. A doily is kind of it's like a decorative piece. So this is kind of like an example, except that it's like not like white or like in the more traditional, like typical, like, you know, yeah, these are often decorative pieces. You could put them on like a table when you put something on it, like I made one for my grandma, and she put a fake flower pot on it on her dining room table. So it's something kind of like this. I probably yeah, it's basically a lacy thing. This is just made out of some scrap yarn that I had. I also have a really giant one that I posted in some other Discord servers that is like the size of my futon. But today, welcome in, Johto Silver. Yeah, I'm showing how to do some of the basic crochet stitches. We have just finished the first two, the single and the half double, because those are part of what we need to be able to make a flower. A lily, specifically, based off of a pattern that was posted on Reddit. Because, you know, I am LilyPad, I thought I could show you how to make a flower. which is, you know, a lily. Also, if you look at exclamation point crochet links, you can get access. There, one of the links that I have posted is a cheat sheet of how to do some of the basic crochet stitches. Yeah, so Johto Silver, this was a request by Brutal Empress. She's asked that I do this stream, so here I am. I'm spending an hour to. Oh, it's probably gonna be at least. We're almost at an hour, so probably I would estimate at least another hour, showing how to do the basic crochet stitches, because I know Brittle has seen quite a few of my cool little projects. This was an octopus that I made, my first stuffed animal. Not perfect, but given how this was before I learned the crochet. Before I learned the stuffed animal trick for single stitches. Yeah, this is just a cute little stuffed animal. I post a lot of them in like Justin's Discord or in other Discord servers I'm in. The projects that are completed. It's just a matter of completing the stitches, or completing the projects. I don't always do. So we are going to be starting on the double crochet. Okay, so... Okay. So yeah, we're gonna... So now we have the tail here. Pull this up here. Pull it. And I had misplaced my hook. Yeah, I don't typically use a camera. In fact, I had to buy a camera for this because my last camera stopped working. But thankfully, I got a nice camera that had a light. Because the light that's in this room here is not very good for this type of work. So again, like with the half double crochet stitches, we are going to be doing we're gonna be doing 2 extra chains. So for a chain 10, if you want to do 10 stitches, we want to do 12 chains. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 8. Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What do you mean, like a flat middle one? Right, because I have several different types of hooks here. I have like this metal one. I'm gonna make sure this is on here. This is a 3.75 millimeter. This is what I used. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you rest your thumb here. Now, some people, there are different like hand positions you crochet in. I tend to do I think they call what I do the knife technique, where I hold it like a knife. Whereas I'm pretty sure this is the knife technique. But just do whatever feels natural to you. So yeah, so there's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Welcome in, Lullaby Melodia. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing? My name is Lilypad. I normally stream video games, but per a follower request, we are crocheting. Because I am kind of in some of the common communities that me and the follower are in. I post a lot of pictures of my projects. Not often in my own Discord, funny enough. I was just gonna show how to do the double crochet because I want to ultimately show how to make a flower, a lily, because I'm lily pad, and because people often call me Lily. I know Brittle was saying that it might make a good hat for my octopus. I've since gotten better at making stuffed animals, but this was my first. My first flower went to my grandma. Yes, I could sew it on. If I had any eyes, if I had any safety eyes, I would put them on the stuffed animal. But yeah, so now we're gonna be showing how to do a double crochet. So like with the half double, we are going to yarn over. We are gonna skip 2 chains. We're gonna stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we are going to yarn over. So we have three loops. Well, yeah, we have 3 loops on here. 1, 2, 3. We are gonna pull through 2 of them. So now we have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through both. And so now, once that was a double crochet, and we are going to put the stitch marker in here, in the stitch. So now we're gonna do this again. Yarn over, stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, yarn over, pull through. So you can see that the difference between a half double and a double is that when you get to this point, when you're doing a half double, you would pull through all 3 loops. But instead, you yarn over, and when you're in the and you're doing a double, you would pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. If I did that correctly. I can easily get myself confused. Yarn over, pull through both. Yeah, so you pull through 2, and then you pull through and then you pull through the other 2, because you're gonna end up with 1 loop. So yarn over, stick it into the chain. I mean, I keep on saying stitch, but but when I'm on the starting row, I'm also meaning chain. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. Oh, that's awesome, Brittle. I'm so glad. So here's a little close-up of the stitches. Yarn over, stick it into the next, well, I guess chain slash stitch. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. I'm so glad you're enjoying yourself, Brittle. I thought about trying to get some like lo-fi music to put on the background, but it was crazy enough just trying to make sure the fans that are going on in the background. For context, I have something going on in my apartment and I can't turn off those fans. So luckily I did some testing to make sure that they weren't going to be too loud on stream. So anyway, so yarn over, stick it into the chain slash stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through both. And we're just gonna continue till we get to the end. Yeah. Yeah, pull up a loop. Okay, yeah, stick into the stitch. Pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. Yarn, pull up a loop, 2, and 2. And so this was the end of a first row. So like with the single and the other one, and the half double, I'm going to chain, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong about doing the chain 2 on the half double, but we're gonna chain 2 on the double, on this one as well. We're gonna turn this around. And then there's the chain 2. And this is where we're gonna be putting we're gonna start the next row in. So stick it through, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. And then we just continue going. Yeah. Okay. Making sure I'm getting it into the correct spot. Yeah. Trying to get it through the... Okay. So yeah, do y'all get it? Understand how to do the double crochets? On the flower we're doing, it's mainly going to be single crochets and increases until we get to the very end. But these are all will be incorporated into the project, which when I saw the pattern for the flower, I felt that as long as I can teach you all the magic circle, it was the perfect bring it all together and let's do a mini project. And also because it is a lily. And again, my nickname. Okay, I messed something up on this particular stitch. Don't be afraid to have to redo or have to, or you know, if you need to like undo a stitch. As you can see, I kind of messed something up. Nope, I forgot to yarn over. So yeah. So I think the most complicated concept that I'm going to be teaching you all is something called the magic circle. So a magic circle, there's 2 different ways. So when you're crocheting in the round like this, there's 2 different ways you can go about doing it. There's you can do like a chain. Where you just do like a bunch of okay, grab this yarn. I forgot to cut it. So yeah, this is gonna be the hardest part, is doing a magic circle. Because I prefer doing the magic circle. Some people like to do the chains. It just varies by by person. And once we start the project, I will put up. I have a pattern that I'll be putting on the screen. And trust me, this might take me a few tries because I still have a hard time. So we have the yarn. Here's the tail. We will move it around. Oh, you don't necessarily have to do all 4 fingers. So now you have this part. This yarn is attached to the ball. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Wait, so there's no confusion. So this top one is attached to the yarn. So you're gonna take your hook, stick it under, and what I like to all do is I'll typically do a chain. And voila, here is a circle. So, and then you would just start, you know, doing stitches in here. So this is a single. And now you have the start of a loop. So this is just for practice. We're not going to be starting the project yet. Yeah, I can do this again. Trust me, this took me several tries to get right. Heck, you can see me struggling. So yeah, you have an X. So the bottom, the one that's on top is the yarn. No worries, Brittle. I just want to, you know, I want to help you make a pretty flower, and this is a core concept. So a core concept of core part of making the flower, because it is a circular. I was kind of concerned that this might be it's slightly more advanced than, you know, just the basic stitches, but but I believe that you can understand it, or I mean not understand, but I believe that I can you know, help you get it. So you have an X. The top one is the ball of yarn. You take your hook, you stick it under the tail, which is this one. You pull it up, pull this under, and then you will take this yarn and you will basically do a chain. And I can do this however many times you want me to. It took me it takes several tries. It took me several tries to get this right. There is a technique that involves using chains, but I prefer this method. I can do this again for you. So, okay. Kind of. So, I guess kind of. I guess it is similar, yeah. But here we're kind of making a circle out of it. So I guess it is kind of like that, what we were doing before. Except now, with how we're doing this, there's gonna be a loop around. So I'm just gonna show you what the bottom will look like. Like so this is the bottom of my fingers, and I'll show you how this looks like from the bottom. So here I am, and then I'm gonna try to get this through. Okay, not quite. I messed that up myself. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, my apologies if this is a little bit on the confusing side. It does take practice, and trust me, for like I think for even like weeks or whenever I would be starting another project involving loops or circles, I would have to make sure I'm doing this right. So again, this one is in the this one is the underneath. Do you have any questions, Brittle? Do you want me to like? Is there anything specifically you want me to focus on? Yeah, again, there is a way that uses chains, but I just kind of prefer this method. Once I got the hang of it, you end up using when I'll show you. I'm just gonna just quickly do some stitches, and I'll show you kind of what I'm about to talk about. So 3, 4, 5. So yeah, so when you're crocheting, you are crocheting inside the loop. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So now this is not the flower, but and honestly, people can tell me if I'm doing this wrong, but what I typically do is you take the tail and you can pull it together. And normally I'd be putting a stitch marker in the first stitch, and you would be starting round 2 of your project. Because now we have a little circle. Well, kind of. You would still, like, when you're starting round 2, it kind of will get joined into, so this is kind of this is where having a stitch marker gets in handy. So we're gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and this essentially is I basically crocheted on top of the first stitch of that first round, and this is the first stitch of the second round. This stitch here. So we put a stitch marker here. And unless the project specifies otherwise, like for the doily, oftentimes it will have you like formally end around and maybe chain a certain number to start the next one, and that's where I'd be changing colors. But for this particular project, we will be crocheting. We will be starting the next row or round by doing a single. We will crochet on top of the stitch from the previous round. It'll all make sense when you get onto it. If you want, we will do this again. I will show you how to do I'll show again how to do the magic circle. And I think with these core concepts, I'll just show you the slip stitch. Actually, I'm gonna go back and show you all how to do the slip real quick, because I forgot that we were supposed to do that. Even it's only gonna be done, I think, like once or twice, but okay, you're typically supposed to have more yarn, but in order to do a slip, you just stick your thing through the stitch, and then you stick yarn over, pull through both. Stick your hook in the stitch, yarn, pull through both. So yeah, I'm gonna undo this. Stick it through, yarn over, pull through both. This is just that's a slip, and we'll get more practice once we get to it in the project. But it's just a slip stitch doesn't add any height, at least from what I understand. Mainly used for moving Or if you're crocheting in the round and you are ending a row, you might do a slip stitch. But with what we are doing today, we are mostly gonna do a circle, and then we're gonna start the next round on the first stitch of the next round of the previous. So we jump over here. But again, so we're gonna do this again for clarity's sake. So tail. This is the ball of yarn. Take the hook. We are going this so we're gonna take the yarn on top, which is the ball, twist it around, and so now we have a loop. And we're taking this and voila, magic circle. And this has created a little loop for us, a little circle, which we will crochet our stitches in. So are we feeling ready to start making a flower? This will be using the same concept of the magic circle. We will be starting with the magic circle. Given the lighting, do you want me to use the white yarn given the lighting, or would you all prefer if I use the purple because it's easier to see? I realize that the white yarn, I'm not sure which is easier to see here. Because I can do either one. I just when the shopping list I made for this, so I specify I just said white because, you know, it's a lily. Okay, so I'll be using the purple, but the shopping list that I gave for this stream, I said white or yellow or whatever lily flower you want. So we are going to be putting up the pattern. Supposed to do it here. So I have a link to the Reddit post that where they posted this pattern. They just posted a picture of they put the pattern in the comment section. So I hope it's okay with them that I show people how to do this on stream. They made a bunch of cute little flowers, so full credit to the Reddit user Hoppy Fuggles. Hoppy Fuggles is the one that has made this pattern. They made the Reddit post that has the flower, and they posted this pattern in the comment section. Okay, sorry. So now, so here you can see it says round 1, 6 single crochet, which that's what SC stands for, single crochet into a magic circle. I'm going to actually make this smaller so we can do it round by round. Yeah, full credit goes to Hobby Fuggles for it was Hobby Fuggles posted this on Reddit. Full credit to them for it. Where's the end of this ball? Where is it? So we're going to do the X. So again, with the this is the one that's connected to the yarn ball. We are going to take this, pull this through, and then we are going to basically do a chain with this. So now we have the magic circle. Now that it says 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So we will first after we do this first stitch, we want to put a stitch marker. because especially with working in the rounds, I like to do a stitch marker, especially given that we are, yeah, it's easy to lose track of where the start of a round is without the stitch marker, or a safety pin, or whatever you're using as a stitch marker. So that was 1. This is going to be 2. So these are all the single crochet stitches. So we are going on, so this is like we're going into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Stick it into, well, I guess in this case, the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let me know if you have, so yes, so let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So do you have 6 stitches? Count the V's from your from the stitch marker. And if you have 6 of them, then we can start on the second round, and I'll show you how to start round 2. Because this will look like a flower eventually. Yeah, so I guess, so now I'm going to expand into the second round. Now it says increase times 6, so that you have 12 stitches. So what we are going to do now is, okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. So we are going to tighten this. Okay. This is where having a stitch marker comes in handy. Make sure you don't get confused with the tail here. We will be doing something with it later. Because this marks this is the end of round 1, but we're just going to tighten this. And so this is round 1 completed. And this is the first stitch of the first round. So again, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the yarn attached to the ball. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo this. And this is, again, this is the first stitch of the first round. So what we're going to do is, I'll be showing you how to do an increase. Okay, so an increase basically means, okay, so okay, where's my yarn? So to do an increase, you're just basically doing 2 stitches in the same stitch. So you're yarning over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and don't forget, we're going to be putting a stitch marker in this first stitch, because this is the first stitch of the second round. Now, we're not done with this particular the stitch we stitched into yet. Because in order to increase, we need to put another stitch in there. So this is where it can get a little bit tricky, especially with the first round. So this is the stitch that we put the first one in. We will stick this in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, kind of, yarn over, pull through. So now we have 2 stitches. Yeah, so we're essentially doing 2 single crochets in 1 stitch here. So you see, so you have like, so like, you see the next V? If it says, so it says single increase times 6. So we are doing, 2, so in order to increase it to 12 stitches, we will be doing 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And this can be a little bit hard because I did kind of make it go tight. So yarn over, pull through, and then in the same stitch here, and at the end we will count our stitches to make sure we have 12. So we are going to go into the next one. And I have lost track. I had to like frog entire rounds because I lost track of what I was on. And we will just keep doing this until we hit the stitch marker. Because that, again, that indicates the first stitch of this round. So the stitch before that will be the last stitch of the round. And I know even when I was making this flower last time, I again lost. I had to redo this part like several times because I kept on forgetting whether or not, just losing track of things. And yeah, it's no problem, Brittle. Okay. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Yeah. I'm doing these a little bit tight. I probably could have done this a little bit looser. So this is the last stitch of the round. So we will just do increase again. So it's 2 stitches in the one, 2 stitches in 1 stitch. And I know if I'm going a little bit fast, just let me know. I can slow down. But this is round 2 of 9. This looks kind of bluer because I have it right up to the light. But once you are, do you have any questions? Like, or any concerns? Yeah, so just yeah, it takes practice doing the magic circle. Luckily, it's just easy enough to, like, undo a circle and re-practice it. So we are going to count these stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So if you have 12 stitches, then we will be able to move on to round 3. So I'm going to... So now it says round 3, single crochet, and then increase. So it's saying do a single crochet in one stitch, and then in the next stitch you do an increase. So you'll put 2 stitches in the one stitch, then a single and one, then a single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 in the next one, until you get to the end, in which case you should have 18 stitches. Here is where I have... I think this is where I get myself messed up, because I keep on forgetting whether or not I... Yeah, you're alternating single and increase. So, like we did before, we are going to undo the stitch here, or stitch marker, I mean. And this is the start... This was the start of round 2. So we will do a single crochet, and we will put the stitch marker here to mark the start of round 3. Because, yeah, unless the pattern specifies otherwise, you will just start the next round on top of the last one. So we started with a single crochet in the first stitch. So now we are going to do an increase. So this is an increase. So for the third stitch, we will do a single crochet. And then in the next one, we are increasing. And then a single crochet. And then an increase. Yeah, okay. So that was an increase, and now we're gonna do a single crochet. And now an increase. Then another single. Just let me know if you have any questions. I can provide assistance as needed. That was a single, and then an increase. And then looks like we're on our last 2, so we will be doing another single crochet. And then, last but not least, an increase. And we will count our number of stitches. Okay. Or you'll not get caught up in the stitch marker. So now we have a cute little circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So if you have 18 stitches, then that means we're all good to start round 4 of 9. And next several rows will just be doing the same thing. Not the same thing, but when what we're doing in round 4 will be repeated until round 7. Pretty sure it's round 7. I think it's round 8 that is... Okay. Yeah. So how are you doing, Brittle? Do you have 18 stitches in your little loop? Or circle? Okay. So here is where I found this at Michael's. And it's also it's like a tally counter. So I'm just gonna use this. So I'm going to easily forget. Actually, how about I put on a little text here? I'm gonna call this row counter. Well, we probably should call it, well, row/round. Gonna correct that. Row. I'm gonna add that to my little screen here, so we will both keep track. We will do this together. It's supposed to be a ring, but it barely fits my fingers. Because I have very tiny hands. But I can press this button to increase the counter. Hit reset. But I like the number beats for when I'm on a larger project. So it just says single crochet. So for round 4 through 7, we will be doing single crochets in every stitch. So no increases. So I removed the stitch marker, and we're gonna do a so we're gonna just do a single, and we are going to put this in here because we're gonna fairly easily lose track of what was our starting stitch. I always lose track. So we will be putting the stitch marker here. So now we are officially starting round 4. And this will just be us doing single crochets in every stitch. And at the end of each round, we will count what make sure we haven't missed any stitches. So since we should still always be having 18 until we hit we hit the end of round 7. Because round 8 is when we'll be starting to do we'll be doing something different. And I do encourage you to. I'm gonna save the VOD, and I'm gonna save the VOD on my YouTube channel. Once it's on there, y'all can come back and reference it. Also, this will be available on my Twitch channel here for about 2 weeks. One of the things you'll be noticing with this project is that we're essentially starting to build the sides. Because we're not increasing this, the rows will start becoming more straight. Well, they're starting to come up. Okay, and I messed up on that. Okay, so with that being the last stitch, I'm gonna make sure I'm still at 18 to make sure I didn't mess up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So that is 18 stitches. So I'm still on track. Again, so I'm gonna just double check and double check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm so glad that you're enjoying this, Brittle. I'm happy to do it. It brings me a lot of joy to see my projects bring other people joy. And now I can show you how to make some of your own. With a project that is perfectly fitting for my nickname. So are you completed with, how are you doing on round 4? So yeah, you can see it's starting to... Okay, so now we're going to start round 5, which again is going to be basically the same thing. And I'm going to mark this on here, on my little counter here. So I'm going to remove the stitch marker. I think I got these at Walmart. These stitch markers. So yeah. Single crochet. And then stick the stitch marker into the stitch. And now we will continue with round 5. Yeah, I really like that this camera has a light on it because it is avoiding a nasty shadow that would be here if I didn't have it, because I have the light that's in the light that's in this room is like behind me. So I'm really glad I was able to find a reasonably priced camera that had a light on it. And I also got this little tripod for also a reasonable price. That was, you know, it's pretty short. Or it can be short if you want it to be, which is what I needed. I needed this to be tall enough that I could do this, but not so tall that I would have it. Yeah, it needed to be small enough I could be on my desk. Oh yeah, also, this is all one ball of yarn, so this thing is starting to change color, because this is just this is all a single ball of yarn, so I've not done anything special. Some balls of yarn are like that. I got this particular ball of yarn at Michael's. Though I did find a specialty yarn shop in my area. They have all sorts of really cool yarns. Yeah, just really neat. People travel from all over the region to go to some of these stores in the town. And really, their selection was really nice. Okay. So with this, I'm gonna count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I'm gonna count this again because I'm inevitably, it's inevitable I'll make a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So this was round 5. Let me know if you're done, and in which case we'll be able to start with round 6. We have 2 more. After this, we'll have 2 more rows of doing these single crochets. Okay, so we're going to increase the counter. Yeah. Remove the stitch marker. Put this in here. And just do another single crochet. Stick this in to the first stitch to mark the start of round 6. And we will start doing round 6. So this thing is starting to take shape. And when I made my first flower and I gave it to my grandma, she put it in a little display case that she has. That had like another thing. Like I bought her a teacup when I was in Japan, and I had it mailed to her. The shipping costs more than the teacup itself, but she put it on display in that little cabinet. And she has the doily I made for her on her dining room table. Because in my family, both her mother and her mother-in-law, my grandpa's mother, were both crocheters, but unfortunately my grandma just never really got it. She never really understood crochet. So the skill never got passed down. And then you have me randomly picking it up while I was in college, and how the skill reappeared into the family. So I thought that maybe me giving my grandma some gifts of some of these crochet stuff would not only, you know, be touching because it's a gift from me, but also make her feel closer to, you know, her mother, because it is a skill that, you know, her mother had. And when I talked to her about it, she did feel that way. I made her a dishcloth, and coincidentally, when I came over to her house, her dishwasher had just broken, so she was having to hand wash until she could get a new one. And yeah, so she ended up really needing a dishcloth like that. I do not recommend messing around with scrubby yarn until you're more experienced, because even at my level of experience at the time, using scrubby yarn was not very fun. Where do I have? I'm not sure if I have it nearby, but a scrubby yarn. It's like a type of yarn that you can use to scrub things with. Actually, while I'm talking about it. I'll show you, because I have it right here. This is scrubby yarn. You can barely, if you like kind of pull it, you can kind of see, but can you imagine trying to crochet with this? It's really difficult because it's really hard to see the stitches. So I didn't enjoy I did not enjoy working with this type of yarn, because this is basically a bunch of single crochet stitches. And oh my goodness, I do not recommend until like you're have a bit more practice. And even at my current level of experience, I had a hard time making this. So I just wanted to show this for example. This is scrubby yarn, Red Heart scrubby yarn. This is basically just one ball. I bought it at Walmart. Well, I use more than just a single ball, but well, I mean, no. This was less than a single ball of yarn. This was less. I used some more balls to make other, more scrubby things. One of them was the one from my grandma. Yeah, it was really hard to use that yarn, so I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying if you want to keep your sanity, just might want to avoid the scrubby yarn. But it was just amusing that, my grandma's dishwasher broke down, and then I just coincidentally brought it for her as a gift. The dishcloth. The pattern on the ball of yarn had basically a dishcloth that you made in the round, so kind of like what we're doing here, minus the shaping aspect. It's just a giant circle. But I kind of just went, well, no, I'm not doing this, because it's hard enough to keep track of the stitches as it is on the scrubby yarn, but let alone on a on a circle. It's so hard to, it's so hard to see the stitches, so. So I want to make sure I have the right number of stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I've lost track of my count already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is gonna be easier if I just like turn it inside out. I'm gonna double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So if you are done with round 6, we can go ahead and we'll start with round 7. And this will be the final round of single crochet stitches. I need a drink, a glass of water. I've been talking for almost 2 hours straight, so. Yeah, refreshing. Very refreshing water. So now I'm gonna, first off, I'm gonna update the counter, so we're on round 7. And make sure I have the right yarn. Yeah, messed up. So this is the start of round 7. Have you finished round 6? Oh, I forgot to, did I turn it in? Was I think. You're God. I didn't realize I had God I mean, I guess technically God is watching you at all times, but I didn't realize God was watching my Twitch stream. Hi, God. So yeah, when we're since we've made so many straight row, like so many, now that it's kind of at this shape, I will kind of pull this, push this so it's easier to see the V as I'm going around and, you know, doing the stitches. This is the last round of single crochets. On the next round, I'll be showing you how to do a decrease. So I showed you how to do an increase, but what if you what happens when you need to do a decrease? A decrease is when you need to, well, decrease your stitch count. So like when we were increasing, we from on the second round we went from 6 stitches to 12. Then on round 3 we went from 12 to 18. Yeah, I didn't get the entire. Okay, there. There, I got it. Make sure I this. Yeah. Yeah, again, this is one of the things I liked about the Lily is that I'm showing you a lot of different core concepts, from increases, well, from the basic stitches. We will the final round is going to be the one where we use the half double and the double crochets, and but I'm showing you the singles, half doubles, doubles, slip, and, you know, increases, decreases, and the magic circle. The hardest part that I'm at least for me, I think the hardest concept was the magic circle. Um, but I hope I've been able to teach it, um, in a way that's, more understanding than I kind of had to use like YouTube and stuff to figure this out. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, the stitch marker messed me up. I'm just gonna turn this inside out so I can count the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and, okay, I'm getting myself confused. I'm just gonna count again from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So this was 18. So now right now, I have a shape looking kind of like this. And if you're done, Brittle, we can go on to round 8, which is the second of the, well, it's the second to last round. I just had to check something real quick. So, kind of like how we did in round 3, we'll be doing a single crochet, but in this case we'll be doing a decrease. And we'll be doing a slip stitch. So, I'll be showing you how to do a decrease. It sometimes, I'm gonna type in the chat what it's sometimes referred to also in pattern. Oh, my mic hit my tripod. SC to tog. That's sometimes what it's that's another term for it. Single crochet, that's something what they sometimes do. So, but first things first. Yeah, so it's gonna be alternating. So we will be doing a single crochet, then a decrease, then a single crochet, and then a decrease. And I'll be showing you what a decrease is after we do the first single crochet stitch. So, stick this in here, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and then this is the first stitch of round 8. So, now to do a decrease, you stick the hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we will stick it into the next stitch. So this is the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then we will pull through all 3. And I'll do this again, like after I do another single crochet. So in the next stitch, you just single crochet, and now in the stick this in, yarn over, pull up a loop. In the next stitch, you'll stick it in, yarn over, pull up another loop, then you yarn over, pull through all 3. Does this sort of make sense? Basically, instead of finishing the stitch, you'll stick it into the next. So let's do this again. So yeah, we're gonna be stick this into the stitch. So yeah, so now we're here. We're gonna stick this into here, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then we will stick this into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. So instead of, with increasing, you put 2 stitches in a single crochet stitch and a single stitch, but here, instead of pulling through the loop, after the first stitch, you pull into the next one. You pull up a loop in the second one, so you have 3 loops on your hook, and you'll pull through all 3. And this will want you to have 12 stitches in the end. I know this can be a little bit confusing. So if stick it in, yarn over, pull up a loop, you stick it into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and then single crochet, Think you got it? Well, I'll still guide you through the next one. I'll still guide you through. You stick it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, stick it into the next stitch. This is a decreasing. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over. Oh, thank you so much, Brittle. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep on hitting my mic on the tripod. So now we are sticking this into the stitch for the next decrease. Yarn over, pull up a loop. We're sticking it into... Well, I've actually hit the end of the round. Then yarn over, pull up another loop. We have 3 loops on the hook. So yarn over and pull through. So if I did this correctly, I should have 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then it says a slip stitch to join. So I'm just going to count this at one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I think I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now it says we are going, excuse me, to slip stitch. Are you at this? Let me know when you're at this point so I can. I'd only briefly touched on the slip stitch because it's you're not really going to be doing rounds of slip stitches, I guess, unless it's like a decorative thing or you're moving across the pattern or a row. But this is roughly what it will. This is kind of the rough shape. And this was the second to last round, so so now so in the first stitch, we will be doing a slip stitch because we will be doing the final round. We're not going to be starting on top of the last stitch. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this I want to show you how I did this again. Into the next stitch, I stick it in, I yarn over, and pull through both. And that is a slip stitch. And we will be marking this. So do you have the slip stitch? Oh, I forgot to update the row counter. So now we're gonna start on the final. Yeah, the next. So so you know the one that you had the stitch marker in to start round 8. That is what you slip stitch into. Yes, you do it. You put it into that next stitch. And actually, so once we finish finishing the last round won't be the end, because we will have to do what crocheters dread, weaving in the ends. But we are about to start round 9, which is the final round. so starting in the same stitch as the slip stitch, SLST is stands for it's SL is like a slip. So it says single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet in one stitch, and then in the next stitch you do double, half double, and single crochet in the next stitch. Then you just repeat that times 6. So here is the stitch that we did the slip stitch in. We will do a single crochet, and then a half double. Oh no, I messed up the half double. Sorry. I forgot to yarn over and then do the half double. Okay, make sure I'm doing this right. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. So now we have a row of we have a single, half double, and double crochets. And so then now when it says doing double, half double, and single in the next stitch, we will do that. So this was the stitch that we did the slip stitch in. Well, it should be. Where did that come from? Okay, no, no, that's all in the correct stitch. Okay, making sure. So yeah, we're gonna start with a double. Oh, okay. If my yarn will cooperate, if my hands will cooperate. And then we're doing a half double. Ah. I'm just gonna redo that stitch. Do the half double. I'm gonna redo the half double. And then a single. And then then this gets repeated throughout the throughout this. So single in the next stitch. Oh, no, I had yarned over. Oops, sorry. Half double. And then double. And so now again, we're half double into the next. Excuse me. No, this is a half double and then a single. Are you catching it? So when you're doing the pattern of single, half double, and double, that's all in one stitch, and then when you're doing the double, half double, and then the single, that's in the next. And then this pattern just gets repeated until we finish. So here I am doing a single, half double, and a double. And yarn. Okay. Give myself some more yarn to work with. This is a double, half double, and a single. So these are the cute little petals of the flower. The stretch. Okay. Single. So yeah, these are two petals. There is a one of these is a well, I get. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go to the first one, because this was a single crochet. Well, the first round looks kind of odd, so yeah, this is probably the best example. It's like there's okay. Well, okay, so yeah, okay, no, so here. Yeah, so there's a single, half double, and double. Because there's a single here, double, or half double, half double. Each of these is in basically 2 stitches. So the lower points are where you have two single crochet stitches. Then the upper parts are when you have 2 doubles that are, you know, in 2 different stitches. So this from here, I'm doing another single, half double, and a double. So you can see this. So this is single, half double, and double. Then we're doing half double, and then a single. Did I accidentally do a double? Yeah, so this was the double. So now we're doing half double. And then a... Did I miss a stitch somewhere? Honestly, I can't tell. Like, because if I miss a stitch somewhere, I might have to redo part of this myself. I know that was the slip. It would be really funny if I ended up missing a stitch somewhere. Did I? Because I feel like I shouldn't be, So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't tell, honestly. Like, okay. I can only count 5 of these. Honestly, I'm getting confused myself, because let me see. Yeah, I'm going to frog this. Cause instructor messed up somewhere. Cause according to this, I have 6. And I have 5, I think I had 5 there. Okay, don't. So as you can see, even I can struggle with this too. I'm still, so I'm just, yeah, so. Okay, so. Yeah, so I just had to completely undo that because I realized I had 5 pedals when I was supposed to have 6. So that was the slip, and I'm... Yeah, so if you need more practice, well, me messing up is gonna give you more practice because I have to redo this. Yeah, that's why I figured that me counting them out on, like, out loud would be helpful to you, and that's kind of why I was doing it. Also because it helps me remember by counting it out loud. But I also figured that it would also help you out, so it was kind of a both win-win. Yeah, I don't remember exactly where I messed up, so that's why I'm just redoing it completely. Oh. Oh. Hi, Mom. Mom told me that she's watching, so... Hi, Mom. I love you. I told my mom about this. Oh, I forgot to yarn over. I have a phone link app that lets me send texts and stuff from my computer using Bluetooth. So my phone is connected to my computer, and if I'm say, like, you know, moderating Justin's Discord, or not Discord, Twitch, and I'm not looking at my phone, well, if I get a text from my mom, my computer will tell me. There's also one that there's like the Microsoft one, and there's also the one from Samsung. When I did my sell-off stream, or my Brave sell-off stream, I used the Samsung version, which essentially turned my phone into like a mini computer, like a little virtual computer thing. Because that was sending audio through, and OBS could pick it up. But the phone link app, which is the Bluetooth one, the Samsung one, I had to connect via the charging cable. The phone link is the one that the Microsoft one, or I'm not sure if it's developed by Microsoft, but it's connected via Bluetooth. So the Samsung one was pretty useful for streaming Fire Emblem Heroes. But I like the phone link for just general use. I can even if I want to like copy paste something, the phone link allows for me to have like a shared clipboard between my computer and my phone, which is another thing I like about it. So I was just saying that's how I saw the text. I'm reading chat on my computer screen. So that was how I saw the text from my mom. Okay. This is looking a little bit more accurate because you know, I have 4 of these now. Okay, wait. What was my last one? It was a single. So I start with a single here. Yeah, somewhere along when I did this the first time, I missed a stitch or two. So I had to completely like what we would call frog it and restart the round. Yeah. Gonna okay. So 2 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're about to start the last one, the last petal. Me just going fast. And I'll show you how to finish it. So yeah, this looks closer to correct because there's 1 last stitch here and I can do a double in the last one. Half double. And then finally, another single. Yeah. The project's kind of getting in my... Okay. So, pretty flower. And then what I'll do is I just... It doesn't say to do this, but what I do is I'll just go ahead and throw a slip stitch into the stitch that we started in. Just to kind of connect it all. Flower. Even mine looks kind of mine looks a little bit wonky too. So yeah, voila. But again, we aren't quite done because we have to start weaving in the ends. And this is where your tapestry needle comes in. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make that disappear. So this is a giant needle. You know, not a sewing needle. It actually has a pretty non-sharp end. This isn't sharp. But, so first thing, we're just gonna kind of cut off some of the yarn with the scissors. We're gonna cut the yarn from the ball. And I am going to show you how to weave in your ends. Which, yeah. So what I like to do is we're gonna flip this over, we're gonna flip this out. Because this is basically the inside of the flower. Yeah, okay. We're gonna stick the yarn through the needle. Just give me a second. I'm trying to remember something real quick. If I need to do something. Flipping this back out to correct. Sometimes, so that's one way I typically might end it. Is to kind of like wrap it around with a chain. It isn't. I could be wrong though. It's just kind of what I do, just so I can kind of get rid of the loop. Just because I was trying to remember what I'm supposed to. I was trying to remember what I'm supposed to do with this, the loop. And I think what I've done with in the past with these is I just wrap it around a few times, pull it through. Welcome in, Lolawat. What was it? Lolat W pause. What pause? Well, you pull through once. My apologies. Yeah, I'm doing this on a request. I would consider myself a kind of a early intermediate. Yeah, welcome in, Lola. I am kind of, yeah, I would say I'm kind of like late beginner, early intermediate. I know enough to teach the basics, but I'm not really that, you know, advanced yet. But I do post a lot of cool pictures of things I do on my friends' Discord servers. Yeah, so now, yeah, this looks more right. Thank you, Lola. Yeah, I'm Lilypad. I kind of stream video games most of the time, but this was a special request from my friend Brittle Empress. So, yeah, she's a cool person, and this was just a special request from her to show some of the basics. And because I am Lilypad, I wanted to make a flower, a lily. Because I felt, you know, because I am a Lilypad, Lily would be very fitting to make on stream. Oh. My mom was watching the stream. My mom was watching the stream too. It's always good to have your parents cheering for you. But yeah, so we're just gonna start weaving in the ends. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. I've never been. Well, thank you, Lola. I appreciate it. Yeah, I consider my skills like, yeah, I would say maybe early intermediate. This was my first attempt at an octopus. This was before I learned how to do like the single crochet with amaguri thing that reduces the appearance of these holes. I think I eventually started making them with that trick, but yeah, this was my first attempt at a stuffed animal. That was like a couple months ago. Cute little stuffed animal. Yeah, if I had safety eyes, I would have put them in there. This was my flower that I made as like a display. And doesn't it make the perfect hat? This was like I think like my second doily that I made. I have a much larger one that's basically the size of my futon. I don't have it posted in my Discord. I mainly am involved in some other folks' Discords, and that's where I share a lot of my projects. But it's massive. I think it was like around 30 rounds. Like I think it was 34 to 30 or 36 rounds. Pretty neat little pretty big project. I am also working on a plastic bag yarn plastic bag yarn welcome mat. Let me get this better looking here. Me tying plastic bags together to create yarn to make a welcome mat, because I really need to buy myself some reusable bags. Yeah, so yeah, it's so cool. You learn how to crochet as a kid, and now you're... Yeah, I figured this would be this plastic bag project. I thought was a perfect way to reuse some of those plastic bags that I really shouldn't have, because I should really be buying reusable bags to use instead. But at least I'm not letting them go to waste, especially because my city doesn't really have a good recycling program. I believe a Walmart does have a place they can put recyclable plastic bags in, but I thought, you know, making some cool crochet stuff out of it would be kind of neat. So yeah, so I think my local Walmart does have a recycling bag area, but there's not much else of any other recycling in my city, unfortunately. So, you know, I'm reusing, especially because I am one of those people that whenever I get home, I take off my shoes. I don't like I don't mind if guests walk around with their shoes on, as long as they aren't muddy. But for me, it's a preference that I take off my shoes as soon as I enter a home. But it's not like I have guests over much anyway. So I've been crocheting since I was in college. Well, I was probably a junior or senior in college. I was a part of my university's honors college, which required a certain number of volunteer hours per year. And with the pandemic, that made it kind of hard to do any volunteering, because nothing was open, or a lot of the volunteering that you would normally do was unavailable. So the crochet club at my university said, hey, if you make projects and we'll donate them to charity, that can count as volunteer hours. Well, that's why I picked up crochet. And coincidentally, it turned out that two of my great-grandmothers on my mother's side, well, both my great-grandmothers on my mother's side were crocheters, but the skill never got passed down because my grandmother never really understood it. She tried, but she just never really got it. So she was quite happy to see the skill suddenly reappear in the family. So that's kind of my history with it. I'm out of college now, and I would say I don't crochet as... I crochet... I do crochet, but it's not like I'm doing it every day. But we're just gonna go ahead and get started with the weaving in the ends. If I'm wrong, correct me, but normally I try to move along with the stitches. So I have the yarn on my tapestry needle, which again isn't sharp. And I turned the project inside out. And you just kind of just weaving it in, weaving them into random places, trying to kind of go along with the stitches. Like my only formal like in-person being taught was with the president of the crochet club at school, where I learned like the absolute basics, just enough that I could make scarves and stuff. Yeah, this is just me kind of doing a favor for my friend Brittle here. I even had to buy a new webcam because my old webcam stopped working a while back, and I just never saw the point in buying a new one. Well, this was a perfectly good reason to. So I was able to get one that had a nice light on it. Or else I would have had to use like a flashlight or my phone. If I have a light right behind me, so if I didn't have this light with me, I would have been having some nasty shadows. So we're gonna be weaving in the ends, just weaving this in, and then we'll be doing the other end. I had some crazy shenanigans happen yesterday and are still kind of happening now. So I was kind of worried about this not still being on. But thankfully with some tests, it is still possible. I was still able to do this today. Yeah, again, it's no problem, Brett. I'm happy to help. Because now you have your first you have your first flower. Your first project. Like I stream sometimes. Oh, I guess these days I kind of started as a Fire Emblem streamer, but now I tend to co-host on other people's channels for Fire Emblem, and now I tend to do other games on my channel while I co-host Fire Emblem on other channels. Fire Emblem being like anime chess, basically. But now I'm currently doing I think on my channel I'm doing a weekly Stardew Valley stream with one of my friends. This is the part where I can get a little bit tricky to keep it. Eh, it fell off. The yarn came off the needle. Well, I think I've weaved enough. I think after this, I think I've weaved in enough of it that I can just cut off the rest. Y'all are getting a close-up of my tiny hands. Yeah. Yeah, so I think this is good enough. I've already weaved it in a bit, so I'm just gonna cut off the rest with my handy pulled-out scissors. Yeah, so again, this is inside out right now. Gonna kind of pull this through to the inside to start down here on the bottom one. I had to fix an article of clothing yesterday using my sewing kit. So it wasn't all that much different from this, except, you know, I was basically trying to secure something. So yeah, let's make this, turn this out. And I'm just gonna kind of run this up the stitch. And we're just gonna kind of do some, we're just gonna weave this in. Yeah, I'm using purple instead of white or, you know, any other lily color, just for the sake of the stream, because white is a little bit harder to see with this light. How are you doing, Brittle? Yeah, I would say the things I made a few doilies. I made, you know, a few scarves and hats. I made a giant blanket for a friend of mine, and his family back when I was in school, because his family was kind of like my second family when I was when I was studying in college. So it was probably around 4.5, 5 feet long. Took me about 3 months to make, and this was with me having like a full course load. I had I worked 2 hours a week as like a student assistant. And I also was doing 2 4-hour streams a week because I was playing a Fire Emblem game, plus per follower demand or viewer demand, I was playing Fallout. It does kind of look like a bluebell. Yeah, purple is my favorite color. I love the color purple. In fact, I just had my hair recolored yesterday with my favorite hairstylist. She does my hair a little bit purple. Not like a full head of purple, but she makes the ends purple. So that I every couple months I go to her because I trust a professional to have my hair recolored. For me, it's like a well worth extra expense because I went to when I was growing up, I went to a school that was incredibly strict and didn't like unnatural colored hair. So and then when I was in college, I didn't really want to get unnatural colored hair because I was afraid some employers are a bit more traditional than others and may not accept it. Well, last November when I was going to get my hair done, I was curious about the company policy. It didn't have anything against it. I asked some people that I knew within the company who had been working there for a while, and they pretty much said, yeah, there's nothing against it. Our culture is pretty accepting. So, and then after encouragement from my own manager, I arranged it with the stylist to try out the purple hair look, and it looked phenomenal. It's the way my parents who are of the boomer generation call it, they say that it looks very classy. So, and there was the same thing that my manager said. So, it was, I think, for the company I work for the type of company I work at, I think the industry is kind of hit or miss. It kind of varies by company. There's like, it's not like most people have unnatural colored hair. I think it varies by company, or even like your role within the company on whether unnatural colored hair is accepted. Because I heard from some other people that if you're in certain roles, they generally don't want you to have a less untraditional look. But I really enjoy it. It feels me. I feel like I'm finally able to express myself And I honestly don't care about the looks that people give me. Because it's not their business. So, I'm not sure if I can lean in enough for my hair to appear on camera. I don't want to show my face. I'm not really a face person. But yeah, I'm gonna pull this back right side out. And we made a flower! Okay, fix this, voila! So once you're done weaving the ends, you can just... Yeah, I think it's great. The way my manager put it was, I wasn't hired from my looks, I was hired from my brains. And if you look good, then if you look good, then you're likely to perform better at your work, because you looking good can, you know, it makes you feel good, and that bleeds into your performance. So that was kind of that was my manager's logic. And again, she saw the way my hair looked, and she again thought it was phenomenal. It's different while not being in your face. So that's just kind of my little story regarding, you know, again, I feel different, so it's, yeah, happy flower. I'm gonna compare it to my white flower. This is the same yarn. I think the white looks better. It looks like a little top hat. Yeah, if you can post it, Brittle, feel free to send me a picture of what your flower looks like, or if you can post it on my Discord. I have a Discord right here. For those who aren't part of it, I mainly use that to tell people when I'm live, which is typically around once a week. I stream typically on Mondays or on Thursdays, starting at around 3:15, 3:30 US Central. This week it's gonna be on Thursday because I have something else going on Monday relating to the current mess I'm dealing with that's not relevant to the situation. Hey, Brittle, if you get yourself, you can make yourself another flower and, you know, sew it onto the octopus. Yeah, feel free to go back. I have an exclamation point crochet links. You can either go back to the VOD, or you can get the pattern from going to the first post where on that link. Well, the first link on that link is a link to the Reddit post where I found the pattern. And again, in 2 weeks, once the VOD disappears from my Twitch channel, I will have it available on my YouTube, which I can send you a link to right now. Well, not right now, but I'll make sure it's publicly available on YouTube, which is where I store all my past VODs. So yeah, happy flower, happy octopus. You can probably see where I messed up on the octopus leg. Thank you so much, bro. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you for your kind praise. Let's go find. Let's see if any of my friends are live, so I can send you all to them. Okay, my friend, Spec SM87 just went live 5 minutes ago. So once this ad stops running, I'm gonna go send you all to him. He's really cool, a cool guy. He plays Fire Emblem and Zelda a lot. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for your support. Don't forget, next Thursday at around 3:30 p.m. US Central, we'll be continuing on with Stardew Valley multiplayer. It's a playthrough I'm doing with another friend of mine. And we're gonna go ahead and raid spec. So I wish you all the best. Good evening, good morning, good night, whatever time it is. I hope you all have a good time, and I hope you all take care. Bye-bye.